Good evening and a very, very warm welcome to you wherever you may be. Thank you for joining us here on the Football Out West show. My name is Tonci Prusak, and as they say, all good things must come to an end, and so is the case with the 2022 NPL and Men's State League seasons, and we are going to have a very comprehensive look at the final weekend of all of those leagues tonight. And helping me to do so, Craig Filer and Steve Curtin. Craig, good evening. How are you, mate? It's been a massive, massive year and a massive, massive weekend to finish it all off.
I'm honestly, Tonch, welcome. Good evening, boys. Honestly, I'm absolutely shattered, if I'm honest. It's been a long year. Actually, quite glad the football season has come to it hasn't quite come to an end yet, but certainly from a coaching perspective, it has. And I'll be looking forward to a break now before recharging and potentially going again next year. We'll see.
Steve-O, how about yourself, mate? It's been a huge year, and what a show last week. Let's talk about that. Our 100th episode, a live episode, and thank you to everyone out at Caroline Springs, George Cross, including that wonderful, wonderful live studio audience. It's been a massive week in that local community football, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, and it's taken its toll on all of us. And I was thinking of recording from bed tonight, I think, as well. But Kate's in there herself, so she probably wouldn't be on board for that sort of thing. So it's a great show that we had last week, though. As you say, Tonci, it was fantastic. As good as this is to do the show together like this, doing the show in person with all of us in one place was really enjoyable. Enjoyed it so much so that, we'd love to do that again. And the guests that we had as well, fantastic array of guests that travelled out to Fraser Rise to be there at George's on Vista with us in person, and our audience members as well. It was just really good to do the live show, and walking high, riding a high after that, definitely, I think. Tonch, what about yourself, mate?
Yeah, no, it was like I was on the verge of, I think, suffering from laryngitis that night. So if you've had a look back, folks, at the replay, yes, we had, as Steve said, some awesome guests. And look, our full replay is available on our YouTube channel. Go to our Football Out West show on our YouTube channel. It went for 2 and a bit hours, but it was well worth it. And a big, big shout out to all of our guests. I'm not going to start mentioning because I'll mention him. Boys, jump in if I've missed anyone. Mark Sultana, the president of George Cross Football Club, also our major sponsor. We have Eric Vasiliadis, head coach of Caroline Springs, George Cross. Kimon Taliadoros, the CEO of Football Victoria, and the one and only Gary Calder, Football Victoria Hall of Fame inductee. Craig, who else did we have last week? We had a lot of people.
Giacomo from Macron.
Giacomo Carulli, yes.
We had Lutona from Pascoe
Vale.
Geez, wasn't he a nice fella?
He was a good talker. I would interview him every week. That was that enjoyable.
Lewisevsky came on, didn't he?
And yes, of course, Preston Lions head coach. Yeah, he was very good. Apologies.
Unfortunately, we did have some issues with Facebook yet again, Tonch, which are beginning to bleep.
Is this where I have to bleep?
Beginning to pee me off.
Tell me about it, folks. If you can, tune in via our YouTube channel. If nothing else, we are going live on YouTube, obviously. Facebook is just a problem, but we do attract most of our fans and viewers and listeners and watching not through Facebook. So we've got to be grateful for certain things. But speaking of being grateful, gentlemen, a massive, massive shout out to our major sponsor, Caroline Springs George Cross, who have been absolutely wonderful this year in not just their own support of the show, but logistically and in every other sense of the word. So it was an absolute pleasure having the show, having our 100th episode streamed live out of Caroline Springs Cross last Sunday. We're going to take a very, very short break, folks. When we return, we're going to do a little bit more about the rehash of the weekend. That was a huge weekend. That was. We'll also probably jump onto our first guest. But in the meantime, here's a couple of words from our major sponsor. Don't go away, folks. It's the Football Out West Show.
You find authentic Maltese cuisine? At George's on Vista, in the heart of Fraser Rise. We have a menu to suit everyone, which includes kids and seniors meals, and a cocktail list that will need you to come back several times to get through. Our specialty nights are a big hit. Tuesday is $20 Palmer night with a selection of Palmers to choose from. Kids eat free Wednesday night. With every paid adult meal, you get one free kids meal. Thursday is Maltese night. Check out the Maltese specials on our specials board. And Friday night, we have happy hour between 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Be sure to book your table to avoid disappointment. Bookings can be made via our website, georgesonvista.com.au. See you at George's on Vista. You'll find us at Caroline Springs, George Cross. Looking for a space for your next function? At George's on Vista, our function room caters for all types of functions. Milestone birthdays, special religious occasions, work functions, hens or bachelor nights, baby showers, or whatever reason you decide is a good idea to get together with family and friends. Contact our friendly staff who will help you put together a menu that will suit your special occasion. Inquiries can be made via our website, georgesonvista.com.au. George's on Vista, in the heart of Fraser Rise. You'll find us at Caroline Springs, George Cross.
And welcome back to the Football Out West Show. As we said at the very, very start of the program, what a huge weekend of football it has been. And gentlemen, you both were involved in the in calling one of the games earlier today in the NPL competition. And let's just have a look, guys. This was your view for the afternoon there at Avondale. What actually is Avondale's home ground called? Avenger Park, is it, or something like that?
That's the one. Avenger Park. The old Reggio Calabria club there. Essendon Royals once played there in the old VPL competition as well. It's a venue that's been regenerated. It's got the grandstand on the far side and the freeway side, and the change rooms are still portable at the moment. So I imagine they would have been pretty warm in there at halftime. Not a lot of airflow in those sort of buildings. So hopefully next season it's got a few more upgrades, and hopefully the team will be in the top 6 next season as well, as far as everyone at Avondale's involved.
Oh, let's talk about that, shall we? That final round of the competition. There's the ladder. And Steve, if you've got the results there handy, let's go through them. That was, a very, very exciting final day of competition.
Yeah, I was hoping to chase up some more goal scorers, but it's a real paper trail of Facebook posts and things, and not a lot of information. But certainly those results, we saw Hume City, they were already going to be safe from relegation after their win last week, barring a 15-goal turnaround in goal difference with Dandenong City. They ended up winning, though. They beat the Oakley Cannons. So the Oakley Cannons dropping points in the final game, coming off a cup performance during the week as well. So certainly these teams not performing well after midweek cup games and short turnaround.
Ford scored a gear there for Hume, Steve, in the 82nd minute. So his second goal in the space of a week.
There you go. It's a good result for Sam Ford there to finish the season with 2 goals. The big one, Heidelberg United, they came from 7th and got themselves into the 6th with a 5-1 win over Eastern Lions. Not a surprise result, given that the Eastern Lions have been beaten 7-0 in their previous outing to Green Gully in the catch-up game on Thursday. Bentley Greens just confirming the relegation of Dandenong City at a 5-0 win, while ensuring that the Bentley Greens snuck into the top 6 and finished in 5th place. 5-0 win. The game that Craig and I were at, Pat Langlar scored a very well taken goal. Very good poise by him in the first half, and that was the difference between the two sides. South Melbourne, their 20th win of the season for the Premiers. Dandenong Thunder 3-0 in what was a dead rubber game when they hosted Green Gully. So we're finishing the season on a high for Dandy Thunder, and Green Gully will hope that won't hurt the momentum going into the finals next week. Port Melbourne, what a season they've had. 2nd place. They finished 2-0 winners over a 10-man Melbourne Knights, and Western and all Western Suburbs fixture. St Albans Saints, they come off a win last week in injury time against Oakley. This week, 5-1 winners at Paisley Park against Altona Magic. Doesn't get much more emphatic than that.
What a win. Certainly doesn't. And I said to you this afternoon, one of their big Achilles heel this season has been scoring goals, and they've scored 6 in 2 games to the final 2 games of the season. So congratulations to St Albans.
Well, I think if there's anyone that is not very happy about the season finishing now when it is, as they're just getting into some great form, St Albans Saints, well done to everyone there at Dynamo. Gents, the teams that are relegated, Dandenong City and Eastern Lions. Thoughts, Steve? Will they be back bouncing up very quickly in 2024, or things?
I think the popular consensus, and Craig will probably agree here, that, well, it's going to be a very tough NPL2 next season, expanded to 14 teams, potentially a bunch of A-League reserve sides in there, and Preston Lions as well. I think it's a tough competition, and particularly Eastern Lions as well. They lost so many players. They really need a real overhaul, and they don't have a lot of funds coming in from what I hear. So Eastern Lions tough. Dandenong City, that's a tough one as well. Craig?
Yeah, look, I agree with you. I think that league next year is going to be super tough. Not only with, as you said, Preston Lions and Melbourne City coming up, but potentially, Western United and Melbourne Victory through the playoffs. Then you've got obviously all the teams that were in there this year. Your Pascoe Vale,
your Pascoe Vales,
your Brunswick, your Brunswick Juventus, which we'll touch on later on with one of our guests. But it's going to be a very tough league to get out of next year for sure.
Well, let's turn our attention to NPL2. Our guest, who is going to be joining us very, very shortly, the Moreland City coach, Adrian Mathers. He'll be chatting to us about their amazing result on the final day. But let's go through the results there. Brunswick Juventus 2, defeated by Werribee City 3, and we'll be speaking to the Werribee City president, Giovanni Inserra, about that final day drama there at CB Smith Reserve. Bulleen Lions held to a 1-1 draw by Kingston City. By virtue of that result, as you can see, Kingston City now have dropped into the relegation zone. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Brunswick City defeated Goulburn Valley Suns 4-2 away. Langwarrin defeated Manningham United Blues 3-2 at home. Northcote City and Pascoe Vale, that game was postponed. Pitch was unplayable, but I don't think that's going to have too much bearing on the result. And the big one, the Moreland City versus North Geelong Warriors game at Campbell Reserve. That one, North Geelong heading into that last day, all they needed was a draw. They couldn't get that draw, and Moreland City ended up winning 1-0. What a fantastic result, and what an historic achievement for Moreland City. And to tell us more about what happened and what prevailed at Campbell Reserve, that is, if you can talk after all the partying and the hangovers, the coach of Moreland City, Adrian Matt, he joins us on the line. Adrian, thank you for joining us. Not the gremlins again.
No sound, Adrian.
We've got no sound there. Might need to change your settings, your microphone settings. We can see you all well. That's all pretty good. That's not an issue there.
He's Steve, working on it. I can see Adrian's working on it now.
Absolutely. So we'll just pop him off screen.
Hopefully we can get Adrian back on. Yeah, we know he's a big fan of the show. He watches every week, and he's just sorting something out now for us so we can speak to him. But
nice downloads he's got in his house, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Are they Technic?
They're very well
provided?
Very well
they're not.
focused.
No, they're not. No, I should missed a trick there, didn't I?
Yeah, Steve.
But,
now, how did you see the NPL 2 season this year?
Oh, it's a thrilling season. It's hard on North Geelong. They are promoted, but they were on top for how many weeks, Tonci? They were on top right until the last day of the season. Yeah, Jamie Latham goal on 6 minutes, and what a good player Jamie Latham was. I was impressed when I watched him play a couple of times this season when I got to see Moreland City play a game at home and away, and they had a good crowd there at this match too, from what I saw in the post-match. It was the whistle went and people went nuts at Campbell Reserve.
Go to the Moreland City Facebook page and you'll see a whole heap of little snippets, and we looked at if we could try and use some of that footage. Camera work wasn't good as sort of up and down as someone was running.
I felt a bit nauseous actually after watching that footage. But also, if you watch the NPL TV feed, you can see the full time. I think one of the players runs up to the actual camera and gets his face in front of the camera in celebration as well. With our man Nick DeBano on the call there for that one. It was an exciting finish.
Oh, do you know what? I think we've got a little bit of that footage, the NPL 2 highlights, and let's have a look at this.
It's still going to stay alive here for North Geelong. McGrath is brought to ground there by Kinsanis.
I think this is just right at the very
5
end.
5 seconds to go. Yeah.
Back to his feet. Pike it. He's going to go long. Loops it. Cleared away
Good
by
crowd.
Latham.
Huge crowd there.
And that's it.
And the pitch invasion.
Are premiers. Not only are they premiers, they are promoted for the first time in 75 years to the top tier of Victorian football. As their fans...
I think that was Theodorakopoulos who runs up to the camera. We'll get that confirmed though.
Yeah, how annoying though the feed just we've got Craig as well coming off. It was annoying. The feed just didn't. I'm not too sure what happened there, but like. You just had the statistics come up, and you wanted to see all that was going on with the post-match partying and celebrity and what do you call them? The colour, I guess.
The celebrations,
Yeah, but you just didn't have it, so that was a bit annoying. But look, as you could see, the North Geelong players were slumped down. Their fans, like a large travelling fan base as well. They were shattered, but for Moreland City, it's a completely different story. Now we're going to try and bring Adrian back on. Adrian, can you hear us now?
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
We can indeed, Adrian. Welcome to the show.
Bring your camera down so we can see your face properly. Here we go. Now it's better. All good, mate. All good. Well, first of all, mate, congratulations. And we'll bring Craig also onto the screen as well. First of all, congratulations. What an achievement. And look, it was always going to be, in effect, a 2-horse race between yourselves and North Geelong. But to do so in such drama-filled circumstances on the final day, wow. Just take us through the whole day yesterday.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty amazing day for our club. And as Steve touched on, it was probably the biggest crowd I've seen at our home games. But yeah, just an amazing day, and I suppose the benefit of seeing the joy on people's faces. I mean, I did feel it for North Geelong as well. Tough circumstance to sort of have to play 2 top teams last round of the year. But yeah, to see the joy on the faces of our supporters and committee and coaches and players was just enormous for us.
Steve.
And Adrian, what was the message to the players going out in the game yesterday? Was the idea to go out and attack North Geelong and be on the front foot early in the game, and perhaps that might have led to that early goal with Latham on the score sheet within the first 10 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, we've been pretty good at starting games well, and we were pretty focused again on trying to start the game as best we could, as we always would. But really, the main messages before the game is really just about reducing the anxiety and the tension, and just making sure we stay focused, because I think that's been our strength this year. And so if anything, it was really just trying to create the right mood so that we, again, the anxiety there, and it wasn't a sort of fear of failure. And of course, it helped scoring early, just meaning we get to start the game well and continue on. We had a few chances, they had a few chances, and it was, a pretty tight game all in all.
Now, Adrian, congratulations, mate. It's been a long time coming. I know I've said on air last week when I did, and I'll touch on that game. You know, you've been in and around that top four for a number of years. Obviously, got to the final a few years ago against Green Gully in the playoff down there at Amy Stadium. Unfortunately, that didn't go your way. How much did last week's game against Pascoe Vale help the boys this week? Because you said you want to start quick, and you scored another quick goal inside 6 minutes. Last week you scored one within 12 seconds.
Yeah.
How important was that win last week? Because obviously I spoke to you after the game, and it was just an incredible. We spoke about it. It was an incredible game, incredible atmosphere up there. What did the guys take out of that game last week?
Yeah, I think if anything, it just gave us a bit of belief. I mean, obviously, keep scoring the last kick of the game is pretty fortunate, and doesn't always go that way. But it made us think that we can actually do this, and it set up a good opportunity for us. So sometimes the stars just align, and you feel like you've got the luck, or the luck's on your side. And I think it all gave us a bit of a boost. Obviously, leading into yesterday's game as well. You know, Pascoe Vale, a very good team, and to beat them is a real confidence booster. I think it just helped us from a confidence perspective, and if anything, made us believe that we can do this.
Now, Adrian, I'm not going to mention names, but Steve and I, early in the season, when we commentated a Moreland City game out at Werribee City, speaking to some of the club insiders from Moreland City, and they actually said, look, we expected to get relegated this year. We didn't expect to be undefeated. That was midway through the season. Were the expectations actually quite, let's say, low early in the season? And have you kind of used that as a little bit of a motivationary tool to prove the pundits wrong, that you actually were a better side than what people around the club maybe even thought you were?
Maybe a little bit. Like, certainly at the start of our pre-season, our pre-season form was horrible. I don't think we won a pre-season game this year. And I think that just created a bit of an expectation amongst potentially coaches and the club that, you know, maybe it's just going to be a tough year for us. We had a lot of turnover of players as well for whatever reason. Coaches turning over as well. So yeah, it was just one of those things. And I was mentioning yesterday, I don't even think it was necessarily by design in any way, but the group of players that came together are just an amazing set of men, really. I mean, they just get along with each other so well, fight for each other so well. And I just have to say, it clicked. I know I've mentioned to you, Craig, in the past, having, you know, got Jamie Latham out from Wales, kind of allowed the rest of our squad to help him, support him, get around him, and make sure that he was okay being in a new country. So, if anything, I can't help but think that kind of helped the bond within the group. And as games went on, we just got more and more confidence and started to believe. But certainly in the beginning of the season, I think the expectations were pretty low, both potentially internally as well as externally.
Now, for me, two standout players. You've had a lot of standout players within that group, but you know, for me, there's two young players that deserve a massive slap on the back in Fletcher Fulton, who you brought over from Tasmania. I know his dad watches every game, and down there in Tassie, and of course Max Picetto on either side. These guys are blessed with pace. Very, very good football players. How have you seen their progress throughout the year, Adrian?
Yeah, I mean, both excellent. I mean, both so young and have really contributed. I mean, we haven't a bit different to North Geelong. We didn't really have a main kind of goal scorer this year. We were chipping in goals from different spots, and certainly Fletcher and Max both contributed heavily for that. But for players of their age to come in, it obviously helps having Payne Kuno next to them as well, and Corey Thomas, just that experience to kind of guide them through. We're fortunate with Fletcher in particular as well, because I mean, Max, he's been a junior at that club for years and years. So, but with Fletcher, he just reached out to us. We had a look at a video, sort of even through Corey Thomas, sort of him having a look at it, sort of said, "Geez, he's not bad, this kid. Let's see if we can get him in." And he's done an amazing job.
Steve.
Adrian, looking at sorry, my internet is going here, I think. There with us. Campbell Reserve, do you find it an advantage playing there, and then looking forward to next season as well? There's a possibility you might be playing at like CB Reserve instead, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, we love our home ground. I mean, it's obviously not in the best condition, but you know, it's like I said, it's our home, so we enjoy playing football there. I have to say, I don't think it always suited the way we wanted to play, but I think if anything, it probably developed our game a little bit to become a bit more direct. You know, forward passing into feet, getting the ball moving forward. So next year will be interesting. I'm not sure what to expect in terms of where we'll be playing out of, but yeah, our away record was reasonable as well, obviously. So we'll embrace whatever circumstances we're dealt with and enjoy it as best we can.
And obviously next year you will be playing obviously in the top tier of Victorian football for the first time in 75 years. In fact, I think the last time they were there, they actually weren't even called Moreland. I think they were called Coburg, I believe. So how do you now, obviously the season just finished, do you take a couple of weeks off and then start to look at next week, or is it straight back into it now this week and start to plan for next season for what will be a massive season for the club?
Yeah, look, I think we'll enjoy the week. Get together a couple of times this week with the players, do our vote count and things like that. Obviously, things will have to change from our perspective. I mean, just something as simple. I mean, we only train 2 nights a week. I'm not sure we can sort of sustain that at NPL level, so we'll have to adjust in that regard as well. So, yeah, we'll start thinking in the next couple of weeks about what it means. I mean, my main priority is really to kind of keep the group of players together. Like I said, they've just got such a great dynamic that we wouldn't want to sort of jeopardise turning over squad and things like that. I mean, we'll probably look to add from a player perspective, but maintaining and keeping our players is really important. We've got a lot of young talent, so I'm sure clubs will be interested in maybe having a discussion with them. So yeah, I think the priority will be to kind of lock in the players firstly, and then consider what we do beyond that.
Awesome, Adrian. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Congratulations. Now, we can't let you go without bringing up Christos Theodorakopoulos' little contribution in the chat.
Where are they? Where are they celebrating?
They haven't been home, have they?
I'm not even sure. I think they were in the city last
Where was
time.
your invite, Ado? Where was?
Yeah, I know. It's funny. I don't seem to get the invites.
Yeah, well,
your phones. Your text is not working. No, on your phone. I get them a lot. Yeah.
There you go, Christos. We're giving you a little bit of a shout out and a hello, and hopefully there's a lot of responsible partying going on. You know, we don't want to be like the AFL boys. They always end up, some sort of crazy partying and that sort of stuff. Yeah, no, they're silly people. We're not like us football people. Yeah. Adrian, all the very best, mate, for the off season. Enjoy it while you can, because I'm sure next year will be just as eventful, just as exciting, but probably just as stressful as well.
Yeah, for sure. But thanks very much for having me, and thanks for the work that you guys, as Steve touched on. I do enjoy the show every week, so it's great.
Good on you, mate.
Thanks, Adrian, and all. Congratulations again, mate.
Many congrats.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Good on you, Adrian Mathers. That is fantastic. We love to hear people tuning in every week. And look,
definitely one of the nice guys. Definitely one of the nice guys of football, Steve.
There are so many. There are so many nice guys in Victorian football, isn't there, fellas? We saw him last week in person, but we get to. I love this show. I love where we get to really find out a lot about clubs that we don't otherwise normally do. And one of those clubs is a club that, geez. What a result on the final day of the NPL2 competition, Werribee City. Have we got any luck with our next guest, Craig?
I have no idea. I thought he would have been logged in by now, but obviously not. We'll chase him up.
Not a problem. Look, folks, we're going to take a very, very short break. When we return, in fact, here he is, and we're just going to put him on the show now. And
I hope he's done his hair first and foremost, because he promised me to do his hair this afternoon. Oh, no, he hasn't.
There we go. Oh, that sounds really bad. Hi, Giovanni. Can you hear us? Hello?
G'day, guys.
Oh, it's very low. This sounds as if there's a bath running in the background.
Yeah, there's some really bad audio there happening, unfortunately. A lot of yeah.
You're not in the bath, are you, Siobhan?
We'll have to try and see.
It did sound like the bath was being run.
Yeah, look, Look, he was fully clothed though, so unless he's having a bath with his clothes on, let's see if we can get him back. Oh no, we're going to have to. We're just going to have to. There's
a bit of static, but maybe we can push on.
He's been on a run and he's in a cold bath. His legs are in the water, but he's got his Werribee City.
I don't know, like that, he's not having
He's actually in a spa. He's in a spa bar.
That is not a bath. That is more like Niagara Falls there. I don't know where you are, Giovanni. Mate, congratulations on the last game.
Do you want me to log off?
Yeah, that might be
I'll call you, I think.
Yeah, that might be an idea. Look, let's talk about Werribee City. They were dead and buried, Steve. They were really were dead and buried.
They were.
Up until the very last game. They came up against a very resurgent Brunswick Juventus at CB Smith Reserve. And Brunswick Juventus needed this win. Without knowing what was going on at Moreland, they needed this win potentially because they could then have been promoted to the NPL. So there was super, there was so much at stake. So don't dare think that Brunswick Juventus was going to throw this game for their Italian
headphones, or I can get you just on
the Italian sister club. Yep. But what a result! 3-2, Werribee City won, and as a result, well, what happened? They're safe.
They avoid those playoffs. Yeah, they avoid those playoff games against the NPL 3 sides. So. A good outcome.
Got Niagara Falls there.
We've got
that's
the
no
Falls.
good.
Yeah, that's very
we've still got
frustrating.
Hopefully we'll get Giovanni Inserra, the president of Werribee City, because we actually mentioned when we were speaking to Adrian Mathis, mate. Earlier this season, we had the privilege of commentating one of the Werribee City games, and not only did we was it a great experience there to commentate Moreland City and Werribee City, but they've also got a fantastic new facility as well. So hopefully we can talk to Giovanni about that. Yeah. Have we got Giovanni on the line, Craig?
Hopefully.
Giovanni, you there?
I'll try again with headphones.
Oh yes,
that
we've got him
good.
on. Yep.
Yeah. How's that with headphones, guys?
Oh, that's
good.
Much
it sounds
better.
like you've stepped out of the spa bath, Giovanni, so it sounds perfect.
And he's dry as well.
I lied. I was in the bath.
Oh, there you go. It was Niagara Falls. Goodness me.
Caught.
Wouldn't mind being in the bath at the moment, to be honest. Just nice, relaxing, experience. No, not to be.
Yeah. What a season we've had. Giovanni, first of all, congratulations, mate. What happened? What happened at CB Smith Reserve? Take us through the day.
I've never seen him smile so much, by the way. Well, just saying.
Everyone in football is calling it the miracle at CB Smith.
Is that right?
That's what they're calling it. But it was an amazing experience, to be honest. I can't, I've been around football for a long time as a player, and people involved in clubs, and it was quite euphoric. You can have
talk us through how the events of obviously the win and how it all came about.
Yeah, so the boys over the last few weeks have, in fairness to the playing group, we've had some games over the last 5 weeks where, we probably haven't got a result out of some games that we probably should have got either a win or a point. But that's football, and we have to take responsibility for that. And we've also had in there performances which just aren't good enough. We copped a hiding to the champions Moreland City. And congratulations to Adrian and everyone at Moreland City as well for their fantastic result yesterday. But yeah, we still believed, even though we were coming up against the Zebras, who are a very good football team. But yeah, that we always believe, and as you do that, you can always get what you've got to get out of a game of football. And the boys went out there knowing that we had to win, and yes, we still had to rely on some other results going our way. But started the game really well, and first half we were really competitive, and we scored a goal off a set piece to go up 1-0 up early, which was good. It's you always want to put scoreboard pressure on the opposition, which we haven't done a lot this year. And then we copped a really unlucky goal, a cross that was a missed kick that ends up going in the back of the net, and the Zebras were up 1-1 at half time. And the second half, they came out really, really firing, and they really gave us a hard time for the first sort of 25, 30 minutes of the second half. they got the winner, and they fully deserved the winner. Sorry, the winner to take the lead. They went ahead 2-1, and
so
then
what time was that? What time was that in the game?
I think they scored in the 68th.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
So you're 2-1 down with just over 20 minutes left. Yeah.
2-1 down. You're watching the game against Kingston and Bulleen, and it's Kingston went up 1-0, and but then Bulleen get the equaliser, and you're watching stuff all over the place. We're watching people watching Moreland City and North Geelong, and you're looking at Football 24 and trying to watch our own game at the same time, and time's ticking away, and there was sort of 10 minutes to go, and the boys seemed to get a bit of a second win. Joey Santalucia, the coach, made a couple of changes, brought some fresh legs on. One in particular, James Murray, who has been injured for sort of the last 5-6 weeks, which has been unfortunate for us. We brought James in over the transfer window, and he came on and he sort of turned the game around for us as a bit of an attacking threat, and then we scored a lovely goal to equalise in the 91st minute.
Wow.
And again, from there, you have belief, and there was I think there was 6 minutes of extra time. Because there was one of the Zebras pro, Jay Cowley, hurt himself, and it took a while to get him off the ground. I hope he's okay. There was 6 minutes of extra time, and we go forward again, and it was a bit of a scrappy, scrambly goal, and one of those really untidy goals that we were sort of joking. Yeah, they're the goals that we cop every week. I think Zebras will be pretty disappointed with that goal, but it was amazing. The 94th minute we get the winner, and all of a sudden we're like, wow. It's like, Jesus Christ, we've gone from 2-1 down, getting ready for the next weekend to drawing to winning, all in extra time.
What happens emotionally with everybody in that? Because I was just speaking to Adrian there. I was at the Northcote game and the Pascoe and Moreland game the week before, and I went through all of that. What was it like from a president and a player's perspective and the crowd on Saturday, knowing that 94th minute, the game's just about to finish, and you've managed to keep yourself in the division?
Yeah, as I said at the start, it was just completely euphoric, and I've been involved in being promoted and the euphoria associated with being promoted. And this was, I don't know, this was different. This was really, really emotional, because it's been a really tough year for us, for everyone at the club. It's been a hard year, but we take responsibility for that. We everyone, the playing group, the coaching group, the club committee, everyone, we take responsibility for that. It's been really tough, and as I said, the last few weeks, some games the boys have really battled and fought and haven't played too bad, but you haven't had the result. And then to get it in the last game, in the last minute, effectively the last kick, it's like it was always like a dream. And as soon as the ref blew the whistle and everyone's run onto the ground, and I didn't even know what to do. I just had my head in my hands. I didn't know what to do.
And that, gentlemen, is why promotion and relegation is oh so important to our sport. Giovanni, you're safe from relegation. Speaking of relegation, next year's NPL 2 competition, with the arrival of Preston Lions, Melbourne City, possibly Melbourne Victory, possibly Western United, and then Eastern Lions and Dandenong City coming down from the NPL. What a league that's going to be. What a competition that's going to be. What do you have to do to be successful in that league? And don't say a new president. We're not going to accept that. But is there a mentality?
Might have a surprise for us.
Is there a mentality change that's needed amongst the playing squad? Is it new players? Is it something else? What need, as president? What are you going to try and focus on over the off season to get the playing core rejuvenated for next year?
Yeah, I think it's a combination, Tonci. It's a combination of things. There's lots of things that we didn't get right this year, and to be fair, last year was not a great year for us either. We sort of got the get out of jail card with the cancellation of the season. But you know, we've been successful in this competition before. Well, as in, you know, really, really competitive. You know, we had 3 or 4 years pre-COVID where we were really competitive in this competition, and you know, we believe as a club that we certainly belong in this competition, and we're better than what we are at the moment. But yeah, we've already started the review of the season. And it's broad. You know, we had a complete new playing group this year. Only a couple of players, you know, sort of who were left from the Serge Sabadini period that we had. And you know, that's not easy when you have a complete new playing group. It can be difficult. So yeah, it's across the board. We've got to look at our processes. We've got to look at who's going to lead the club from a coaching perspective, assistant coaches, and coaching staff, and the playing group as well. You know, we have to look across the board, because it is going to be a tough competition next year, a longer competition, a longer season. Yeah. Some really tough teams are going to be in the competition, as you've already said. You know, you're going to have Preston, and then you're going to have the Zebras and Paco. You know, both two really, really good footballing teams who, you know, will be out there again, I'm sure, looking for that holy grail. So yeah, but we're certainly committed to going through that process, and it's just relief for us now, and now we're just looking forward to planning for next year.
And just really, really quickly, Giovanni, do you think the events of yesterday and the short turnaround with the new season will start earlier with the longer season?
Say short turnaround, Steve.
Do you think it will be a short turnaround?
Well, like still 6 months, 6 months, 2 months.
I mean, it's shorter than what it was. All right. Do you think this can be a springboard? Like the momentum can continue from this big result, the miracle of CV Smith Reserve?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You know, after the game, when, you know, everyone had sort of settled down a little bit, and you know, I sort of, you know, you have a chat with some people in the change rooms, and you know, and Joey Santalucia, our coach, you know, he raised a really valid point, and he was like, you know, yeah, you can get a lot out of winning and being successful. He goes, but you know, I'd like to think that the playing group will look at this, and you know, what it meant for the club, for them as individuals, for them as a group, look at that and see how that gave them that euphoric feeling, and turn that around into, well, you know, what do you need to do to win games of football much, much more regularly than what we have this year, and perform at that consistent level. You know, if they use this as a springboard to change what needs to be changed next year. So yeah, it's a really, really good point. And I think it is potentially the whole club can look at it and go, well, sigh of relief. We made it out of that. Let's start turning that around and turn it into a positive for sure. Yep.
Awesome, Giovanni. Thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to catching up with you in season 2023, and being one of the Western Suburb clubs. We always love to see the Western Suburb clubs do very well, and Werribee City, you're hoisting the flag, flying the flag in NPL2 next year. But it's going to be look, one season's finished, and we already cannot wait for next year's competition. It is going to be epic, I think. So thank you once again for joining us, and congratulations on staying alive in NPL2.
Thank you, Tonci, Craig, Steve. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for your awesome work too all year. You know, it's fantastic to have you guys plugging away and promoting not just football out west, but, you know, football as a whole. It's fantastic to show. So good on you guys. Well done, and congratulations.
Appreciate that.
Thanks, Giovanni.
Get back to your bath, mate.
Awesome. That's Giovanni Inserra from Werribee City. And look, we've had all of our guests praise with the work we do, and we love every one of you joining in, tuning into our show week in, week out. But next year we've got big plans, like all these clubs that are either moving up a division or staying in a division that's going to be. We've got huge plans, and over the next few weeks we'll be letting you in about those plans. Speaking of next few weeks, next week, folks, we will be taking a much-deserved end-of-season break. We're going to have a little bit of a 1 week off. The week after that, we'll be back in action, and we hope to have 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 more episodes, but that really depends on the clubs themselves. If your club would like to sponsor an episode of the Football Out West show and have a bit of a post-season wrap-up, where we'll interview 2 or 3 of your coaches or presidents or what you're not. Get in touch with us on footballoutwest@gmail.com. Contact us through our Facebook page, and we'd love to feature your club in an end-of-season special tribute to your club. And it obviously doesn't have to be just the seniors. It could be the juniors. It could be the women's. It could be what's happening behind the scenes. We'd love to get to know your club a little bit better on. We're going to take a very, very short break. When we return, Craig, who's going to be our next guest on the cavalcade of stars for tonight?
Yeah, we had this gentleman on just a few weeks ago, and we said we'd get him on if his team managed to get promotion after having 6 points deducted a few weeks back, but they've gone and done it. We'll have the president of Upfield Soccer Club, Wallid Hanna's going to come on and join us.
Yep, that's State League 2. We'll have a quick look at NPL 3 and State League 1 very, very shortly. After the break, don't go away. It is the Football Out West Show, episode 101.
Guzman Finance, Point Cook's professional and trusted mortgage broker. Using the latest technology powered by Australian Finance Group, their lender panel has over 30 institutions, including the major banks. Whether you're in the market for your first home, refinancing, renovating, or buying an investment property, contact Andreas on 0425 826 055 or visit their website at guzmanfinance.smartonline.com.au.
Welcome back to the Football Out West Show. We're going to have a very, very quick look at NPL 3. So if we bring up the NPL 3 ladder there, Steve, if you've got the results there of all the games that were played yesterday, but let's look at the ladder before you do that. Preston Lions on top. They are the champions. Melbourne City automatically get promoted to NPL 2. Western United and Melbourne Victory, they will be entering the promotion playoffs against Kingston City and, of course, Goulburn Valley Suns. Down the other end, Springvale White Eagles, another final day drama. We'll talk about that shortly. They've now been relegated to State League 1, as have Whittlesea Rangers. Ballarat City surviving on the last day of competition. Steve, do you have those results?
Yeah, Ballarat City, 3-0 winners against North Sunshine Eagles, who are a very difficult opponent. They obviously, I don't know, they didn't travel too well on their trip to Moorstead Park, going down 3-0. So, well, congrats to Ballarat City. Good to see our regional clubs hanging around in the NPL divisions. That's important for the health of the game in the state, I will say that. Melbourne City, 6-2 over Springvale White Eagles, a high scorer, but probably a result we expected. Preston Lions sealing a sensational season with their 16th win, 3-0 over Box Hill. Western United, healthy winners, 4-1, another high-scoring game against Geelong, that match out at Broadmeadows Valley Park. And Melbourne Victory at Epping Stadium couldn't get the business done, losing 1-0 to Nunawading City. So that leaves that top four, as we said, Preston Lions as champion, Melbourne City runners up. Western United jump into third. They jump over Victory, who finish in fourth. Both of those sides will be in those playoff games next weekend. They'll be played. So stay tuned for those fixtures. Looking forward to seeing how those matches play out. It's going to be very interesting. How do you see that going, Craig? Do you see the NPL 3 sides knocking off the NPL 2 sides in those playoffs?
To be honest with you, no. I think it's going to be a big task for them to get anything from those games. And I can pretty much say that you're both the Melbourne Victory and Western United, isn't it? Of course. I think we'll get through those games quite comfortably. And we'll see 4 of the A-League teams in NPL 2 next year.
Yeah, well, let's turn our attention to Men's State 1 very quickly as well. The 2 teams that have been promoted, and the bottom team, Springvale White Eagles, and of course, Whittlesea, they will be getting relegated. One will probably go to the southeast and one will go to the northwest. This is the northwest division. Caroline Springs, George Cross, champions. Yes, they are the champions. They got promoted. And a record-breaking feat this year. They've never won so many games in the regular season like they did this year. So congratulations to Caroline Springs, George Cross. Essendon Royals, They're moving up into NPL 3 next year as well. And at the other end of the competition, we don't really know because that's still alive. Clifton Hill, they've got 2 games in hand. Strathmore have got 1 game in hand against I think that one's against Clifton Hill. So that's like the do or die game. Anything can happen here. Craig, what's your take on State League 1?
Look, firstly, congratulations to, without going over what's been said before, congratulations to Eric Vasiliadis and the team there at George Cross for a fantastic season. And likewise, Essendon Royals. It was always going to be tough. It's a tough league to get out of. It's a tough league to play in. And certainly every team in there was gave the best they could. But the bottom 2 is an interest one, Strathmore and Clifton Hill. Strathmore game got called off again last week. Look, they've got the 2 games in hand. The big one comes. They have to beat Clifton Hills, and if they beat Clifton Hills, they will stay. They will stay up. So watch this space on that one.
Yeah, they won yesterday. What was the score there? I think it was they defeated. Where are we? Strathmore. They beat Keilor Park 1-0. Yeah. So very quickly the results here. George Cross defeating Banyule City 1-0. Coria 3 over Altona City 1. Very good result for Coria at Hume Reserve. Speaking of the regional teams, Steve, as he said, Clifton Hill, Sydenham Park, that game's been postponed. Essendon Royals defeated Whittlesea United 1-0, and Yarraville and Brimbank Stallions 2-all draw there. So I'm sure, stay tuned to all the social medias. We'll find out what's going to happen with those outstanding games. But do or die for Clifton Hill and Strathmore. But gents, let's do.
No, George Cross as the champions will be playing against Beaumaris in the finals this weekend.
Let's talk about that.
Craig, the fixtures that I forgot about.
Are they the Clayton's fixtures? The fixtures you're having where you're not really having fixtures.
Nonsense.
State 1, Caroline Springs taking on Beaumaris. Does anyone really want to play these games? Like, what's there at stake for these games, Craig?
Look, my view, and I've been involved in 2 of them. Is I said to you off air, Tonci, for the likes of Caroline Springs and anybody that wins the championship, there's a lot of time and effort goes into getting the job done. Getting the job done means promotions or championship. Mm-hmm. And once you've done that, the euphoria of that, it's then hard to get yourself up for the next game. I understand why Football Victoria do it, but is it something that you really need after a tough all season? And the last game you want is a game that actually means nothing to anybody. But it's the powers that be deemed it's the right thing to do. But for me, it's a complete waste of time.
Brenton Ray, in the comments section, he's our loyal newsman. He says those NPL 2-3 playoff matches will take place next weekend. Venues to be determined in coming days. Now, if
we want to hear it from Brenton as soon as that breaks. As soon as that breaks, because that's not news at the moment, Brenton. But as soon as you know, we want to know.
Yeah, that's right. But if Brenton says something, you can bet your bottom dollar he's on the money. Now let's turn our attention to State League 2 and the champions of 2022 in State League 2 Northwest, Upfield. What a fantastic result it was for them. And we're going to bring the president on now, who is waiting patiently in the green room, Wallid Hanna. He joins us tonight. First of all, Wallid, congratulations and a job well done.
Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot. I'm still partying from yesterday.
How's the celebrations been, Wallid?
Yeah, it was great. So we played at Laylaw last game, and we had to drag all the crowd there. And then we said, let's go back to the club, and we'll stay there till about 3 a.m. this morning.
You certainly look far more relaxed than you did 3 or 4 weeks ago when we spoke to you. So massive congratulations, I think, from everybody in football. I know it's very hard when you have to go through the processes that you did a while back and get 6 points taken off you. But for the boys and the club to keep going and get the job done is a credit to everybody at the football club. So on behalf of, I suppose, everybody, and there'll be some clubs, of course, that won't be too happy about it. But on behalf of everybody, congratulations, mate.
Thanks a lot, guys. It was actually felt better this time. I mean, if we didn't lose these points, we would have wrapped the league 3 weeks ago. But this just was given to us, and it showed the new character to the boys when we said, guys, we've got 3 games to go. We need to win them all to become champions. And the boys said, all right, let's do it. That's why we've trained so hard this year. That's why we've played entertaining football and the best games. We actually really deserve to be there. So they said, let's do it. Let's show everybody that Upfield is the best team in State 2 Northwest. And mind you, this year that our club has gone the furthest in FFA Cup, round 6. We've never done that. And this is another history that getting the club promoted State 1. That's another history that the club has never reached that far.
Yeah. Let's go through the results very, very quickly. We'll pop the ladder back up there, but we'll go through the results very, very quickly. In State League 2, the round 22, Epping City 1, Westgate 2. Geelong Rangers had a magnificent second half of the season. They kept Altona East to a 2-2 draw. Hoppers Crossing 3 defeated Albion Rovers, speaking of Brenton Ray, Brenton's team, Hoppers Crossing. The Hume United and Western Suburbs game was postponed, and as we mentioned earlier, Upfield defeated Layla United 6-1, and Mill Park defeated Moreland United 4-2 in the other result as well. So Moreland United, they will get relegated no matter what. They've got a game yet to play, but even if they win that, they certainly cannot survive. But at the other end of the table, Upfield and Westgate are moving up to State League Division 1. Wallid, do you know much about the standard of State League 1? And have you watched any of the games this year? And is it much of a difference to State 2 in your eyes?
So the current team we've got at the moment would be a top 4 in State 1 Northwest, because we did play in the Cup game. We played Sydney. We beat them 3-0, and we did go and play Balmoral, who now are champions of State 1, and we beat them 2-1 in extra time. And we've seen basically the differences. Our technicality, the players that we've got, we find them more technical. What we find is that we need to add depth to our squad, physicality. We need some physical plays. We need some good runners around there so we can be a competitive team next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'll jump in there for you. And I know your side's technical because I've had the pleasure of coaching against you guys a few years ago, and you've got a lot of South American, technically very, very good football players in there. I can categorically tell you that State League 1's very, very different, Wall. It's a very, very physical game. There's a lot of big boys in that league, and, football sometimes becomes second nature. Of playing nice football just because of some of the pitches that you play on and some of the teams you play against. But look, you guys have got a very good football inside. One question I want to ask: how do those players get to play next year? Will they still be? Because obviously a lot of them are on visas. How will that go for you in terms of your player?
Okay, so we still haven't sat down and we've thought about it, and we've got the players that we want to keep for next year. So we've got about 8 to 9 visa players. We would put an offer to them that we have to keep 3 to 4, but also we want to offer the rest to play in the reserves team and have a rotation roster around the team, and whenever they need it, or we just give them the option and we loan them to a local club. And whenever we need them during the season, we can just transfer them over. So these guys are actually loyal. They've been at the club for 3-4 years, and they really love the environment that we put, the culture that we've established in there over the years. They really love it, and they don't want to walk away from it. And they've seen it, and they've heard if they go to other clubs, the way they might not get the same treatment. So we are actually thinking about bringing local players, developing the youth. Our target next year would be staying in State 1, be in the top 4 fly, and then work on the facilities, develop the youth, change the junior structure, and it will take a year or 2 to be a really, really top club in State 1. But our main focus is talking to the council about developing our facilities, get them ready to be, if things happen within 2-3 years according to plan, if we become an MPL club, then we want to be playing at Gib Reserve, not renting Hume City facilities. or anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Wallid, just on yourself, are you able to give yourself a bit of annual leave now that the season's over and you've had a successful year, or delegate some tasks out to other committee members over the summer? What's in store over the next few months for you as president?
Well, it's well, the way I'm feeling it now. Like you finish the league now. You need within the next month. You need to have your plan up there, and you start planning for next year. It's never stop. But we play the state champions next week, I think, against Collingwood City. Hasn't still been released where we're going to be playing, and after that, we're just going to have 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off, half-hour presentation night, and then sit down with the coach, and we've got the plan already for next year. But we would take about 3 to 4 weeks off and start in October planning.
Wally, the three of us were talking about just before you came on air about these end of season cup, or whatever you want to call it, finals and this and that, playoffs. From a president's point of view of a club that's just won the competition, is there any point to having these cross-conference playoff games, or do you actually see some benefit to the club and to the players? Be honest.
To be honest, the players are exhausted. So they asked if what it was for. I said, look, this is just a Southeast team plays the Northwest, and the winner becomes the champion of Victoria. And they asked me, so is there a prize from the FFV towards this? I said, what prize? You're going to get a flag and medals. That's the best you can get. And they said, oh, well, if it's a giving game, we'll go and play it. And it's another game to entertain our supporters. They've been with us and they deserve it. So it's one more game to go, and that's it. So we're going to go back to training this week.
Yeah. Prolong the season, I suppose. Mate, on that note, thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations to yourself and to everyone there at the club for what has been an unbelievably successful season. We look forward to watching your exploits in State League One next year, and all the very, very best. And from one president to another, he's the departing president of State League One, president of Caroline Springs, George Cross. Mark Sultana puts it simply, goes, State One, very difficult. So they're words of wisdom from one departing president to one arriving president. But Wallid, we wish you all the very best for 2023, and enjoy yourself a little bit as much as you can in the very, very, very short off season for administrators.
Thank you, guys. You guys have been great, and we would like to support you in the near future. So, you guys have actually helped our story get out there 2 weeks ago, because a lot of people didn't know about why Upfield got the 6 points deduction. So through your channel, it was actually, I had to put it out there clear. And that's why after that, we got all the support. A lot of clubs actually are teaming up with us to go back to the FFV and feedback about their online system registration.
Yeah.
So it was actually great that you guys hosted us 3 weeks ago to mention it, because now the FFV is feeling the pressure and they realizing that there must be a change to the system.
And after last week speaking to FFV CEO Kimon Taliadoros, don't worry, people at Football Victoria do tune into our show, so I'm sure they're listening as well and taking note. Good on you, Wallid. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations, mate. Enjoy the rest. And, catch up with you soon.
Thanks.
Congrats, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Oh gosh, a lot of warm and fuzzy feelings in the show
tonight. A lot of love in the room, Tonci, isn't it?
A lot of love. We're not used to this. I don't know. Don't get this much love from my wife.
It's an end of season feeling, mate. Everyone's just in this kind of hazy, loved up feeling.
I tell you what, everyone's just sad that it's ended, that it's ending. But look, we're going to now take a very, very, very short break. When we return, Steve, who's going to be our next guest?
Yeah, good question. Next guest, we've got Bill Georgeopoulus, the coach of Westvale, coming along to join us. So they've had a good season in the State League 3 Northwest. Let's find out more about it. Absolutely. Don't go away.
Will you find authentic Maltese cuisine? At George's on Vista, in the heart of Fraser Rise. We have a menu to suit everyone, which includes kids and seniors meals, and a cocktail list that will need you to come back several times to get through. Our specialty nights are a big hit. Tuesday is $20 Palmer night with a selection of Palmers to choose from. Kids eat free Wednesday night. With every paid adult meal, you get one free kids meal. Thursday is Maltese night. Check out the Maltese specials on our specials board. And Friday night we have happy hour between 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Be sure to book your table to avoid disappointment. Bookings can be made via our website, georgesonvista.com.au. See you at George's on Vista. You'll find us at Caroline Springs, George Cross.
Welcome back to the Football Out West show. We've still got a lot of guests to get through tonight, and we're going to take a look at State League 3 Northwest. Remembering the women's competition still is going for another week after tonight, so we've still got a bit of news as well regarding that a little later on in the show. But we've still got a little bit more football left in the Victorian football calendar. But Craig, let's go through State League 3. Have you got the results there? And I will pop up the ladder. And as we can see, the team that finished on top, we're going to have their coach, Bill Georgeopoulus, joining us very, very shortly. He's in the green room. The Invincibles, they are officially the Invincibles, undefeated all season. They will be joined by Altona North in State League 2 next year. At the other end of the competition standings, Moonee Ponds United will drop down into State 4. Obviously, not too sure whether that's going to be North or the West. I dare say it's probably the North. But, tell us, Craig, what were the results of round 22 of State League 3?
Yeah, we'll start off Heidelberg and Faulkner game. That was postponed due to the pitch. Moonee Ponds actually defeated Craigieburn 1-0. Point Cook Jets defeated Diamond Valley United 5-0 at home. Sebastopol and Western Eagles 1-1 draw up there at Ballarat. And the big game in this round in 3 was Westvale defeated Altona North 3-2 at home, while Williamstown defeated Sunbury United 4-2.
Before we bring on our guest, a big shout out to Point Cook Jets, your old club, Craig, and Lindsay Phillips, the president out there, hardworking. They recently opened their new club rooms there at Saltwater Reserve, and absolutely fantastic. It's got views on both pitch 1 and pitch 2, so it's been long overdue, and it's great to see. So congrats to the Jets on that. But let's bring on the coach of the Invincibles, the Westvale Invincibles bid, Bill Georgeopoulus. Good evening to you, Bill, and congratulations on, a flawless season almost. 4 draws out of 22 games. Not perfect. It could have been 22 wins out of 22 games, but, mate, that is an awesome result. Well done.
No sound.
Oh, yeah, he's all right. He's just... Hello, can we hear us, Bill?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, barely can hear, but most important thing is that we can hear you. As we said, congratulations. Great season, great result.
No, thank you very much, and I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you very much.
Craig.
So let's talk through the season, Bill. Fantastic achievement, mate. Played 22, won 18, drawn 4, scored 44 against 13. Couldn't have done much more, could you?
Not really, but if you speak to the Greeks around the club, they probably wanted 22 out of 22. But
are they calling for your head? Are they going to want your sacking? Are they?
No, look. If you told me that we were going to be, just ecstatic. I can't actually believe that we finished off in the way we did. To be honest, I just got to give a lot of credit to the playing group. It's I'm there just to manage them, but I think I've got to give a lot of credit to them. They turned up every week. Probably after round 11 and 12, teams start to think, you know what, we've got to start beating these guys. We've got to start knocking off their undefeated streak. So the boys obviously had to play with that pressure as well. To play with that week in, week out, and to Alan Muscat and his team for a great season as well. And they actually did really well yesterday. They really came out to play, and it wasn't played as a dead rubber at all. It was actually a hard-fought tussle yesterday at home.
Now, Bill, tell us a bit about, for those of us who don't know a lot about the club at Westvale, what were the ambitions going in at the start of the season, and as well yourself? How long have you been at the club for as a coach, and what your expectations were of the team going into the season?
Well, the president's expectation was obviously to win the league. My expectation, to be honest, 5 games or so to go, and we're in reach of that second spot. I'll be more than happy to be in that position, and to far exceed that and pretty much wrap promotion with 5 games to go was just credit to the club itself. Personally, I've got 30 years now, in and out, but I started there as a junior since 7 years old, and took over the club as probably in 2018 it was, but I took over, I think it was 9 games in. The club was in a bit of turmoil at the time. Just got relegated by, I think it was a point back then that we got relegated, because that year only one team in second last in the 2 state League 2s got relegated. And then I took over last year again. It was pretty tough last year, to be honest. Over 2 games in, I think we were minus 10 goals after 2 games, and we obviously taking over on the Tuesday. I gave the playing group a go on the Saturday against Falconer. We lost 9-0 at home to Falconer. So, we've come from that 9-0 loss to, ending the season last year in COVID, which I thought, pretty decently strong. Although we did finish in bottom position. I think we lost 1 of the last 4 or 5. We've all got pretty much a new squad together. We kicked off early. We started in November pre-season. We'll do the same this year as well. Since it worked last year, from last year, we'll do it again this year. From friendlies to throughout the season, all training sessions. Normally, because I played at state 1. When you start playing a bit lower, when winter starts to kick in, you don't really get the turnouts at training sessions in those lower divisions, to be honest. And to be honest, we've never had under 15 players at any session. So on a Tuesday or Thursday, so it's been really good. At the end of the day,
do the players know you'll be training 4 nights a week next year? Have you told them yet?
No, certainly won't be going 4 nights. My wife will kill me if I'm going 4 nights. So it'll be back to Tuesday and Thursday again, and we'll play the Saturdays for next.
Bill, you made an interesting point there about attitudes in the lower leagues. As the weather starts to get colder, the players don't turn up. This year, obviously, it was a different story, as you said. And who was driving it? Who was pushing it? Was that you pushing it, pushing the players? Was it the players pushing themselves? Was it just the general mood around the clubs? And here's my second question, because I always love open-ended questions, don't I, boys? Was that the thing that really, really differentiated you from the pack, that attitude, that mental strength?
Look, to be honest...
Can you remember the first question?
I forgot.
I'm a bit hungover, but when I do... to be honest, look, I think what made a difference...
I'll drink to that.
We bring in quite a few players from that obviously played higher. You're looking at state ones, and those players don't know any better than to come to every Tuesday and Thursday. So when you start bringing a few of these experienced guys to that, I mean, we had a couple of boys that came from. We had one boy that Kai DeMarco. He's come from Melbourne City youth, and obviously he doesn't know nothing better than to train every Tuesday, Thursday. Young lad. A couple of other boys are from State 1. These guys, these. And like I said to the guys last night, yesterday in the change room, I said, in the day, a lot of the boys, I gave a chance to just by talking to them and just realising what sort of kind of people they are. And that sort of, I was just hoping that, once they go on the field, hopefully they are the real deal and they can really help us. And that was the case. And look, you can be mates on the field, but these guys, this team we've got at the moment, they're better mates off it. And so normally you'll go to a club and on a Thursday night, a player or two, let's be honest, they might get paid and leave through the back door, or might not stick around after a game. No, boys, they're there till every Thursday night. They're seat back after every game. We didn't lose any this year, but win, draw, doesn't matter. It was home or away. We sat back at all grounds, and it's just the group. It just needs put it that way.
Fantastic. Yeah. Awesome.
Now you got a couple of big goal scorers on your roster. Obviously, Musa Kamara, who I know very well, a Western Suburbs lad, and Carl Dixon, both chipped in with a fair number of goals. And then you had Hillary Jenkins on 6. So you had 3 players that really contributed a lot of the goals. What's the goal now for next year for you guys? Obviously, State League 2 is a next step up again. No disrespect to State League 3, but State League 2 is a big jump up. What's the plans for you as a coach now in terms of your recruitment?
Look, I just want to thank young Kyle Dixon. This is pretty much his first senior year. He came from Keilor Park under 21s, and he's been a gem of a find to give a young boy a go, and he finished our top goal scorer for our team. For the year, he bagged 2 goals yesterday as well. Just a big shout out to him and a big thank you. But the goal for next year is obviously in the next couple of weeks, sit down with the president.
Once you've sobered up, yeah?
Yes, correct. Yeah. So we'll sit down just to see exactly where we want to go for next year. Obviously, we want to retain a lot of the boys from this year. In the day, look, we had 22 games undefeated. I watched quite a few State 2 games this year. Look, it's a big jump. I don't really think there is a big jump. I mean, we saw Upfield. I mean, Upfield's a class act. I mean, they came in. They were a class act from last year into this year. They topped up their squad, and congratulations to Wallid and the club there. But this year, look, we've obviously got an eye on a few key positions that I think we lacked this year. And that will obviously help us advance for next year. But I'm not a person that's going to overhaul 10 players on a team that's gone 22 undefeated. Our guys, 6 of our 7 starting 11 yesterday, aged between 19 and 23. So, that's for me, those young boys, they deserve their chance. They got us here, and I'll quickly be looking to retain them for next year.
Awesome. On that note, Bill, congratulations once again. Enjoy the short off season, if you like, the festivities there, and continue that hangover. But remember, the work starts very, very quickly, and it's good to see that the planning has already started for next year.
Yeah, no worries, guys. I appreciate your help, and thank you for having me on.
Good on you, Bill.
Thanks
Bill, and congratulations.
Bill Georgeopoulus there from Westvale Olympic. Now, gents, the common denominator there seems to be that the successful clubs, Craig, firstly to you, are the ones that start their planning virtually before the season has even ended. They're already got one eye on the following season. And as we
haven't spoken to any unsuccessful clubs though yet tonight.
Well, that's right, yeah, and true, and maybe maybe that's the reason they don't do it. Maybe they just have a big break and put on the board shorts, and then after Australia they start their planning, or Christmas or whatever. Craig, your own experiences of clubs down in the lower divisions of Victorian football, is that the thing that really differentiates the successful clubs from those also rants?
Absolutely, Tonci. No, absolutely. The successful ones are always the ones that put the planning in preparation in. There's an old saying, isn't there, that if you plan to fail to plan. So you have to put those the hard work in now, and especially the players, the teams that are successful. Like your Westvale Olympics and your George Crosses and all those clubs that finish champions. They want to keep and retain the players that got them there. It was one regret I had, that I didn't do that when we got promoted many moons ago, and I wish I had now. And I've spoken to those players since then, and that was my one regret, is that I didn't give them the opportunity the following year to emulate what they did the previous year. So very important that the teams plan.
While we wait for our last guest to come on, let's quickly go through the women's competition. Steve, let's have a quick look at the NPLW standings. That season is still progressing at the moment, not completely finished. Very interesting at the top, though. Yeah, tell us what's going on there. A lot of games that still need to be played, catch-up games, no doubt, this week.
Yeah. I mean, it's close at the moment, isn't it? 1 point difference at the top. And, yeah, Heidelberg United, they've had a really good season, haven't they? South Melbourne haven't had such a good season. But, if we got some of those results from the weekend, if we can get some of those on the screen as well. But my internet is not really behaving itself very well. Heidelberg United 3-1 winners against Box Hill. So a good result. Calder United, the score's not been loaded in Sports TG, but I'm pretty sure they beat South Melbourne there as well on the weekend. That was yesterday. There's still a game to come. Still a game to come. Bulleen Lions and FV emerging still to come on tomorrow night. It's always good to have those Monday night games at the Veneto Club there. FV emerging, they're going all right. They were sort of, in the bottom two most of the time a few years ago, and then now they seem to have stepped up. So I'm not sure what that says about the league itself.
Well, next year the league itself is going to expand to 12 clubs. And looking at the Premier League women's standings there, the Victorian Premier League standings, Preston, the champions, Burundara Eagles as well, did very, very well. They'll be joined by Southern United and Melbourne University are on, but I don't know if they will get in because they obviously don't have a lot of the infrastructure. They don't have juniors, being a student club. I dare say that Casey Comets would probably either get in or...
Well, that's what Brenton Ray believes, so I think we'll go with that, yes.
Yeah, so it probably will be a case of Preston Lions, Burundara Eagles, Southern United and Casey Comets moving up to NPLW next year. Now, I know definitely we'll be looking at clubs like, I think from memory, in the Victorian, in the State League 1 Women's, Brunswick Juventus are on top there. Essendon Royals, I think, will be also there, and I can't remember who the other team as well is. Spring Hills, I think it might be a case, but they will be also moving up to VPLW. Gents, our last guest, and certainly last but not least, is the coach of State League 5 West outfit Barwon Soccer Club, and they had a huge game. It was the biggest game of their history. At Grovedale Reserve in Geelong yesterday. They took on Maidstone United, and in the end, they were crowned the champions. And speaking of genuinely nice blokes in Victorian football, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome the man known as Dale Harris. He's the coach of Barwon, and Dale joins us. Good evening, Dale. How are you?
Hey guys, sorry about that. There's like a few people over here. Guys, come over and celebrate it as well. Coaching staff, former club president, Dave Ray, Andrew Conti, Kieran Robinson, Andrew Conti's wives all here still. So Maria, just put a few celebration drinks. Thank you for having us on, guys.
We'll get them joining in a little bit later on, but Dale, before we do that, it was simply the equation was simple yesterday. All you had to do was win, and unless some second placed Melton Phoenix won by 20 goals, well, they nearly did, but if they won by 20 goals, then there could have been trouble there. But in the end, there was absolutely no trouble. We'll look at the ladder there. Barwon on top with 55 points. Melton also 55, but look at the goal difference, quite a different goal difference. Mind you, Melton won, 8-0 or something like that?
8-1. 8-1.
Incredible, insane. But, mate, take us through, because this is one of the hardest divisions to get through. If you often get one team that dominates, they usually take up that automatic promotion spot. Take us through the season that was for Barwon Soccer Club.
We got a few quality players this season, as we do every year. There's always new youngsters that come along, and our main goal is to give the youngsters an opportunity where at higher clubs they wouldn't be getting. So we do focus a lot on that and trying to bring back all past players that have left to play NPL system and won't get enough opportunities. So we try to bring them back. We've started off well, extremely well. Got a few games on the charts, had a few hiccups, but in saying that, every time we had a hiccup, results went our way. It was almost like it was meant to be. We'd get smacked. I'll use that word quite correctly, smacked. And then the following week, another team would do us a favor and beat that team or draw to that team. So throughout the season, we've ridden our luck. And towards the end of the season, when Balmoral beat Melton, basically told the players that, we can't ask Lady Luck for any more favors. It's up to us now. And they stuck to it, and they produced the goods when they needed to, and I think they fully deserved it at the end of the season.
Now, Dale, yesterday at half-time, if I'm correct, the score was 0-0. How are the nerves, and what did you say to the boys in the break?
The nerves were high. To be totally honest, I was already visualizing another upset and that, but second finish again. But the message at halftime was just instill more self-belief into the players that, yes, first off, we didn't play our game. And I think because we got such an extremely young squad that the nerves got the better of the boys. But second off, Kieran, Robinson, myself, instilled some self-belief in the boys. And we made them believe that just play your game, be yourselves, play the way, the system that's got us to where we are at the moment, and we'll be okay. And the boys went out there and they put on a show for us, show for everyone, especially for the large crowd that attended, which we are thankful for. And you could see what it meant to the boys in every celebration.
Now, congratulations, Dale. I know we know each other quite well, mate. So over the moon for you, buddy. But two players that really stood out for your squad this year in terms of the goals, and you scored 100 goals throughout the season, which is a fantastic 96. Sorry, mate. Yeah.
Champions.
Done in the true Dale. Done in the true Dale Harris way. Look at that. Okay? Milton Bailey, and obviously Christian Mann coming in. Both of them scoring 26 and 27 goals respectively. How important are those two players for you? And how hard is it going to be to keep them at the club for next year?
The two players are extremely important to us, without a doubt. Their stats speak loudly enough for the club and for themselves. They will be at the club next year. They love it. They want to see the club go even further. They want to see us reach our 5. Sorry about that.
What is she doing? What is she doing going on there? Let's put the wine down and sit down.
They wanted to see our club.
Craig, that's what it is. Remember you in the garage?
Be the loud, but like I said, we got guests over, and they just absorbing the tremendous events that have happened at football over the last day. Yeah. So speaking to the boys, they feel like it's home. Christian Mann's been a junior there. He went away for a year, came back. Milton Bailey went to Surf Coast, came back. Went to Surf Coast, came back. It's his home right now. Those two boys out of the lot want to see the club succeed as much as any of the committee members, club presidents, or coaching staff. They will be here next year. And even apart from them still being here, yes, they were the highlights of our season, scoring, 54 goals between the two of them, which is absolutely incredible in 22 games. You got to look at from the goalkeeper, playing out from the back.
Actually, Milton only played 19 games.
And
yes, he did.
Scored, 26? Amazing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Two incredible players. But yeah, sorry, Karen.
Now, Dale, I was just going to say, like, nothing motivates a club that's about to get promoted into a higher division like the possibility of playing local derbies. Now, I have to laugh every time he does that.
Sorry.
In State 5, that's okay. In State 5, you had 3 local derbies against Lara United, Deakin University, and Surfside Waves. Next year, exactly the same thing. So, based in south of Geelong there, you've got 3 big derbies coming up against Golden Plains from Bannockburn, Bell Park and then obviously the near rivals, Surf Coast. That must, you must be really excited about the prospect of those derbies, local derbies, and the lads themselves must be already looking at one eye on next year's State 4 because it looks like it's going to be a mouth-watering competition for you guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, it's like you said earlier, it's arguably the club's biggest achievement in our 30-year existence, getting promotion from the state competitions. Yes, we did. In 2017, we won League and Cups, Sunday League. Big achievement, but nothing beats getting promoted out to the state competition. In State 5, which is arguably one of the toughest divisions, and State 4 to get out of, considering there's only one promotion. The boys are looking really, really forward to State 5. State 4. But in saying that, we always got to test the waters. We got to set our ambitions and we got to be realistic at the same time. So yes, we want to achieve to the highest standard possible. We want to compete in every game, but it will be about getting our feelers out there, seeing what the competition is like. Do we need to improve on the squad? Do we reward the players that got us there? Do we bring in new players? Time will tell. But with the current squad, I think we're good enough to compete. It's definitely 100%, 200%. We're good enough to compete in State 4. And the amount of players that have already messaged me wanting to join from higher leagues, we should be competitive in State 4, and whatever else happens in a positive manner is a bonus.
Well, fantastic.
Definitely.
Boys, any more questions? Steve, you're going to say something?
Really looking forward to that derby against Surf Coast. I think the rivalry between Barwon and Surf Coast is elite in regional football level, so I think it's good. But have you put in for a pay rise for next season, Dale, after your successful year?
No, if I could get paid with rocks just for being the coach at Barwon, it's more than enough for me. The club means so much to me.
No.
Yes, Craig.
We want a pay rise for Dale. We want at least 2 extra pints a week of that beer that's in that champion's glass. Okay, otherwise, we're going on strike. There we go.
Yeah, that yes. Like I said, I love this club. I feel very welcome every time I step in at the club, whether it's training or anything. I feel really loved at the club, and sometimes our coach just needs to feel appreciated, and that's more than enough for me.
Absolutely. Well, you're a gentleman, and as they say, and an absolute fantastic coach as well. So, Dale, congratulations, and thank you for joining us. And we look forward to following your fortunes in State League 4 next year.
Thank you, guys. Just a quick one. We have a successful season, but without the backing of Colin, Drain, Dave Ray, Andrew Conti as team manager, and assistant Kieran Robinson, we wouldn't have achieved the fate that we achieved this year. So hats off to you guys. You guys are doing hard work.
Can we get those guys coming up behind you and just making a big loud cheer? Go Barwon, all right? We're going to go out on with this. There we go. On the count of 3, gents, everybody go Barwon.
Get in there.
Congratulations to everyone there. There's Giselle Harris there as well, Dale's wife. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us.
Well done.
Well done, Dale.
Thank you.
Congrats, Dale. Very well done. Congrats.
Thank you. Cheers.
And
that was
pandemonium reigning supreme at the Harris household there. Gents, what a show it's been. We've come to the end of our show. Folks, just remember, next week we will be taking a much-deserved break. We will be back in 2 weeks' time, but until then, gosh, it's been...
One stat to finish off.
Yes, Craig.
Westvale, undefeated. The last time that was done, 2006, Werribee City.
Oh, wow.
State League 3.
There you
go.
Interesting stuff. Folks, thank you very much for being a part of tonight's show. As we said at the top of the show, if your club would like to sponsor one of our last remaining episodes on this program, and we can devote the whole show to your club. And somewhat of a post-season review, do get in touch with us, either private message us through our Facebook page or email us at footballoutwestshow@gmail.com. In 2 weeks' time, we'll see you again for episode 102 of the Football Out West Show. Once again, a big, big shout out to our major sponsor, Caroline Springs George Cross, home of the award-winning Georgie's on Vista Bistro. Steve, we'll be back tomorrow night that's before we go. Tomorrow night, the Geelong Region Soccer Show. We'll have Geelong Rangers. They've been crowned champions of State League 3 in the women's competition. We will have their captain and the league's leading goal scorer, Danny Mandich, with some awesome footage from their game today as well. And Lara United, they are the State 2 champions, also from Geelong. And here's an interesting fact, gents. The assistant coach of Geelong Rangers and the head coach of Lara United are father and son, Tony Horrocks and Ryan Horrocks. So congratulations to them. Very, very successful dynasty there. And we'll also have Robert Parmachotti from the Geelong Region Football Committee. Big news happening with regards to the updated football strategic policy or strategy. We'll find out more about that tomorrow night's Geelong Region Soccer Show. Craig, have a lovely week, and we'll see you in fortnight's time.
You too, Gens. Have a great weekend next week, Tonci, and catch you all in a couple of weeks' time.
Good on you. See you. See you, gents.
Evening.
Bye-bye.